at large, because I'm from the west side of Chicago. I was born on the west side of Chicago, and it seemed as if youth sports was a big deal then. Have the adults step back, and do we need to re-engage, or do we need shows like this to draw in other adults so we can recreate that village?
Oh, absolutely. I remember when I was a dean of students at the Hills Franciscan Bryant, and I tell the story a lot. A police officer brought a poster in my office, and he said, Dean Thorpe, do you mind if we hang this poster up? I said, let me see it. And it had a picture of a police officer holding a kid in the air by his collar. And then the caption said, if you spend time with your son now, then I won't have to spend time with him later. And that had an impact on me. So I try to put a lot of time in. I try to be a part of their lives. And I'm not just talking about my children at home. I'm talking about my children that's on my team. If you have a young man that says, Coach, I'm in this event at church, can you come? I got to go. Coach, can you take me home? I got to take them home. When they walk in that building, and it's not just about the guys that's on the basketball team, it's about our kids, period. And that's how we have to look at it, our kids. So, yeah, I certainly think it's a village. I think it's our mindset. I think you're right. We have to re-engage our thought process. It is a concern, because if we don't put that time in, and if we don't discipline our kids now, they're going to fall into the wrong hands. And I think that's happened quite a bit.
When do you think the change was, or can you put a finger on it?
I couldn't put a finger on it. Yeah, I can't put a finger on it in terms of society, in terms of our community. But I remember seeing the change at North Lawndale. I remember seeing the change. We had a very good team, our team that won the state championship and the city championship. That was a different group of kids. And in my mind, I thought we would always get those type of kids. I thought it was about us, and that we had to work to get these kids to the right place, mentally, emotionally, physically. I thought it was our responsibility as coaches and as adults. But the thing is, though, Brian, we have to reprogram these kids, and sometimes it's so difficult to reprogram them. I mean, they see the fast money in the streets, certain people that they look up to. Like you asked that question. You asked that question about what made me go into coaching. Well, I had people that I looked up to, and they made me want to do it. They made me want to give back. And some of these young people, they're looking up to the wrong role models. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
They're looking up to the wrong role models, and now the emphasis is on the quick money, the clothes, the cars. It's on the wrong thing. So, we have to combat that, and it's tough. It is tough right now. There's so much talent. I've seen so many talented players that's forgot about the game, that stopped playing the game, that's doing their own thing right now, and that's what we're up against.
That leads me to the question that I really don't like. This is a part of the society that I used to be a part of. I actually helped usher in the whole hip hop movement, because I remember, I'm old enough to remember when hip hop was it was supposed to be a fad. Our parents told us, "Oh man, this is gonna be gone in 3 years. Stop! Don't even worry about that. I've seen this come and go." Mm-hmm. It's the whole hip hop movement, the dress, the the poor role models, the music. Is that because I don't want to hear this if it's yes, because I'm part of that. That means it's partly my fault. Is that part of the problem, or is it just society at large? Or is that a major part of the problem?
I think it's a number of problems, from music, movies, the availability of weapons. It's just so much going on in our community that our kids are seeing, and they're just thinking that it's the norm.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? They just think it's normal when they see these things. And, we have to fight back. We have to find a way to get our kids, and we have to cuff them. We have to cuff them. We have to keep them close. And I try to do this, and I've always been this way. I try to do this all the time. I mean, there's times where I'll pick kids up, and the parents will tell you, I'll pick them up, I'll take them home. You try to do whatever you can to protect and just keep them out the streets.
And like I said, I was at your facility this week, and I really appreciated the fact that I was sitting there, and there was a gym full of kids. You were feeding the kids. Everybody got along. And one of the things I think needs to be shown more is, are things like that. Because as we watch the news, as we read the newspaper, and as we just interact with each other, it seems as if all we know about is what's not happening. These kids aren't. These kids aren't. How can we, as a community, galvanize and then move forward into the North Lawndale College Preps and to the other schools throughout the city? What can we do as a community to get closer to you so we can help you do what because at the end of the day, the kids are looking up to you. You interacting with them every day. That you probably see kids more than their parents see because their parents working all the time. So as a community, what can we do to change that narrative?
You make a really good point, Brian. I mean, you as a teacher, and I have a lot of students that's on my team, also in my class. So I see them. They come in at 8 in the morning, and then they're out at 3:30. We have study hall, and after study hall, we have, by the time they're out of practice, it's 7:30 maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And by the time they get home, they eat, they do a little more homework. How much time are they spending with the parents?
Mm-hmm.
I think one of the things that we need to do as a community, just as individuals, as men, we have to emphasize the positive. And I think you hit it on the head, man. There's so much negative that's being emphasized right now. Kids not doing this, kids not doing that. We have to emphasize the positive because we have some really special kids out there, and they're not getting the attention that they deserve. So, kids love that attention. They're not getting that attention. And they see this kid over here who's doing all the wrong things, and he's getting all that attention, and they're going to fall into that same trap. So I do think we have to be more positive. I do think we have to emphasize greatness because there's so many of our kids that have it.
I totally agree with you because, like I had, I thought about things about how to help kids, and what I think we don't focus on the middle kids enough, because. And if you are quote unquote a bad kid, there are no bad kids, but that's how you're categorized. If you're a bad kid, you get attention. Okay, we got to help you out because you're struggling, or you have if you're acting out, we're gonna help you out. And then you got the honor roll students. Everybody's praising them, and we're gonna help you out because you're the cream of the crop. It's the kid. I think the problem is the kid in the middle. The kid that's like, I'm going to use myself as an example. I think I was a relatively intelligent kid, but school actually came easy for me, but I was never pushed, or I was rarely pushed. After
right.
I was rarely pushed, and teachers would always tell my mother, he's not working hard enough. My mother stayed on my back, so I had good parenting, but I don't think we pay enough attention to the kid that's getting a C and the kid who's getting all the way up to a B minus, because I think we look at those kids that they're gonna be okay. They're doing okay, but I think as a group, if we can pull those, just like a basketball player, you see a basketball player, he's pretty good, but he's athletic. He's going through the motions, and he could be much better. As a coach, you will pull him up, and you can make him into let's just use He could be a Dennis Hopson, but if you push him, he'll be Scottie Pippen. I don't think we trying to push enough of the Dennis Hopkins to be Scottie Pippen.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And to that you say what? Or how can we help? How can we fix that with these kids?
Well, you hit it right on the head. I agree 100%. We're just not putting that emphasis on the middleman.
Mm-hmm. I think we need to do something, because I was looking at your kids. I mean, one thing, I was just sitting in the gym and watching the kids interact, and as they tell it, the West Side is the boogeyman of the city. Everybody, hey, the West Side be crazy and it's violent and blah blah blah. And these kids are not engaged. We the drunken uncle of the city. Everybody just look at us crazy. But one thing I noticed, you and the adults on the other side of the gym, and I was on the side with the kids. The kids were not overused. I don't remember. I'm not gonna say it didn't happen, but I don't remember any profanity being used. I don't remember the kids being loud. And I'm not gonna lie, that was a 180 from when I was a kid, and the parents were on top of you. We were sitting over there, trying to be grown. So this lets me know everything that you're telling me is being enacted, and you should be commended, because if I was on the other side of the room with a bunch of adults and I knew they couldn't hear me, I would have been cutting the fool. And the kids that I was with would have been cutting the fool. But it was a level of respect that, you know what, I'm not going to step too far outside of my boundaries, because he's only 200 feet away or 300 feet away. He's far enough away not to hear me, but I don't want him to notice that I'm here. And I commend you for that. And
thank you.
I think we as a community, we have to help out the Coach Thorpes, because I'm not going to lie to you. I've had several shows, and I talked about big-time college athletics and how they are the bloodsuckers of our community. And I want to, I don't want you to burn any bridges, but what I see, this is just from the outside, what I see is they come into our communities, they get some of our best young people, and they expose them to these wonderful things, but they never and then they tell them to give back, but they don't point them back to our community. And again, I don't want to burn any bridges with you, but it's just something that I noticed, because it's easy to say, hey, I'm going to send my kid to, I don't want to use him because he in trouble, but let's just use Jim Boeheim, for example. I'm going to send my kid to Jim Boeheim. And Jim Boeheim is going to take this young man to Syracuse. Let's just say he's not a one-and-done athlete. Let's say he matriculates through the program and graduates, and they enforce community service and things like that. But that community service is never pointed towards our community. It's easy to say, hey, player X, you are a big-time basketball player. You may get drafted to Syracuse University, and he's doing community service at Syracuse. He's doing it in Connecticut. He's doing it in all these affluent neighborhoods, but he never comes back to the West. He never comes, hardly ever comes back to North Lawndale. He hardly ever comes back to Farragut. He hardly ever comes back to Marshall, because I'm a firm believer in the reason that we grew up better, or in a better situation, I should say, in a better situation, is because we saw Coach Thorpe pull into his house on the west side of Chicago. There go Coach Thorpe. There go Coach Chris Head. Yeah. There go Coach Quitman Dillard. We saw y'all. It was, and then, okay, man, Coach Thorpe got a nice car. Coach Thorpe got a nice house. And what can we do to keep our young people, or put our young people in line, so they can come back and our young people can go be like, I want to be like him? Or
keep
is it anything
them engaged? We have to keep them engaged. And it's not just about them seeing, it's about us doing. And I know several coaches are like that, and I know I'm like that now, where, I have kids at my house. I have kids at my house eating dinner. It's we have to keep them engaged. We can't just let them think. The only time I get a chance